Every animal on Earth survives by following one simple rule: stay away from anything that can kill you. A gazelle bolts the instant it notices a lion. Birds scatter when a hawk passes overhead. Even a rabbit understands that surviving tomorrow often means running away today. Humans inherited that instinct too, which makes one detail of our history deeply strange. 2 million years ago, somewhere in East Africa, a lion had just made a kill. Minutes later, another group appeared on the horizon. Not hyenas, not vultures, humans. They were smaller, slower, and completely unequipped for a fight. Yet instead of running away, they walked straight toward one of the deadliest predators. On Earth, they were not hunting the lion. They were hunting what the lion had just killed. And they had only moments before hyenas arrived and the opportunity disappeared. Why would a species with no claws, no fangs, and no real weapons deliberately move toward danger? By the end of this video, you'll understand how one terrifying decision helped transform humans from vulnerable prey into one of Earth's most successful survivors. It began with a completely different way of thinking about danger. For decades, scientists imagined our ancestors as cautious scavengers. The theory seemed straightforward. Large predators made the kill, left behind scraps, and humans quietly collected whatever remained. It painted early humans as survivors, but never as competitors. Then the bones started telling a more complicated story. At archaeological sites such as Olduvai Gorge in Tanzania, researchers found animal bones marked by two very different signatures: sharp cuts left by stone tools and deep bite marks left by carnivores. The surprising part is not the marks themselves. It is the order in which they sometimes appear. At several sites, the evidence suggests that humans may have reached certain carcasses surprisingly early, possibly before scavengers had stripped away the most valuable meat. Researchers still debate exactly how often this happened, but most agree on one thing. For hundreds of thousands of years, humans were not standing safely above the food chain. They were living inside it. Picture yourself beside a freshly killed antelope. A lion has only recently walked away. Hyenas could arrive at any moment. Vultures are already descending from the sky. Every minute you hesitate means less food. Every step forward increases the risk of becoming the next meal. And yet our ancestors kept taking those steps. Why? Because meat offered something difficult to ignore: fat, protein, calories dense enough to support growing bodies and increasingly demanding brains. One carcass could feed an entire group for days. Avoiding danger carried risks of its own. In harsh environments, the safest decision was not always the one with the lowest chance of injury. Sometimes survival depended on choosing the greater reward. That logic still shapes human behavior today. Explorers cross oceans. Scientists test dangerous ideas. Firefighters enter burning buildings while everyone else runs away. The predators have changed, the calculation has not. But there was a problem. Even a group of humans surrounding a carcass was not the most dangerous part of this story. The real question was this: what happened when the predator did not leave? Predators themselves carried valuable information. A roaring lion could reveal where prey was nearby. Circling vultures pointed toward fresh meat. Tracks in the mud exposed hidden water sources. Every sign in the landscape carried a message. While other animals reacted to danger, humans gradually learned to interpret it. Instead of seeing predators as random threats, our ancestors began treating them almost like moving landmarks. Nature was not trying to help humans survive. Humans simply learned how to read its warnings. That may have been the moment humans started seeing the world differently, not because they had invented better tools, not because they had mastered fire, but because danger stopped being merely something to fear and became something to understand. Of course, understanding alone could not protect anyone from a charging lion. Knowledge only matters if you can act on it. So how did a species without claws, fangs, or incredible speed challenge an animal perfectly designed for hunting? The answer was cooperation. A lone human confronting a large predator had very little chance of survival. A coordinated group became something entirely different. Together, they shouted. They threw stones. They waved burning branches. Instead of looking like prey, they became loud, unpredictable, and difficult to understand. Modern predators do not simply measure strength, they measure risk. For a lion, even a successful fight can end in disaster. A broken leg means starvation. A damaged eye can become a death sentence. That changes the calculation. Even an apex predator avoids a fight it does not have to win. A lion could kill a human, but a group of humans could change the lion's decision before the attack even began. Researchers believe this may explain why groups of early humans occasionally succeeded in driving predators away from valuable food sources. Not because humans were stronger, but because they made the reward seem smaller than the risk. For the first time, the animals that hunted humans had something to fear in return. Our ancestors did not run toward danger because they were fearless. They did it because cooperation allowed them to survive risks no individual could face alone. But cooperation brought another advantage, one so ordinary that we rarely stop to think about it. Throwing. Humans can throw stones with astonishing force and accuracy. Studies of the human shoulder and torso have shown that our anatomy stores elastic energy like a spring, releasing it in a rapid, whipping motion, an ability unmatched by our closest relatives. For the first time, a fragile animal could influence dangerous creatures from a distance. A stone did not need to kill. It only needed to create uncertainty, and uncertainty is something every predator tries to avoid. Long before bows or metal weapons, a simple rock may already have been shifting the balance. But humans possessed one more advantage, not speed, patience. Most predators rely on explosive bursts of power sprinting, then resting. Humans evolved differently. We sweat across almost our entire bodies, letting us stay cool while moving for hours under intense heat. That single adaptation made persistence hunting possible, tracking an animal for hours instead of seconds, letting it sprint and recover again and again until exhaustion became more dangerous than the hunters themselves. Humans did not win because they were stronger. They won because they could outlast. By now, something extraordinary had happened. Our ancestors were no longer simply reacting to nature. They were learning to predict it. Every encounter became a lesson. Every failed hunt refined a strategy. Every dangerous mistake became knowledge shared around the fire. Unlike claws or muscles, knowledge did not disappear when one generation died. It accumulated. Communities learned which valleys attracted lions, which rivers hid crocodiles, and which routes were safest to travel. Biology changes slowly. Culture changes every day. For the first time in human history, survival depended not only on what an individual could remember, but on what an entire community knew. This ability to cooperate did not disappear. It became the foundation of everything humans would build next. Looking back, it is tempting to imagine that our ancestors conquered the natural world. They did not. For most of human history, nature remained terrifyingly indifferent. Hunts failed. Winters arrived early. Predators attacked. Some people never returned home. What changed was not the danger. What changed was the human response to it. For millions of years, animals survived mainly through physical advantages. Humans survived by adapting their minds. 2 million years ago, humans were not brave because they stopped being afraid. They were brave because they learned fear had something to teach them. The lion had claws. The human had no claws. But the human had something the lion never could, a mind that learned.